Today, let's check out something new and different for me. Will this figure turn out to be good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're gonna take a look at Savage Crucible Veteris Rapax. I want to say thank you to the guys from Harvinger Studios for sending this guy for a review. I'm excited to take a look at this guy because I never had the chance to get one of these Savage Crucible figures in hand. If anyone watching this have something to send me for a review, use my channel PO box that is in the description. Okay, let's get started. First, a quick look at the packaging. On the front, we have a nice illustration of what looks to be some kind of symbol that could belong to some clan or a tribe. We have imitation of blood splatter all over the illustration. Side of the box has a name of the character, Veteris Rapax. On the back of the box there is a short text saying, "Now I'll tell you the secret of the world, child." This one anyway. It's an engine. No one knows who built it, but it moves things. It moves people from where and when they belong to here. Even the oldest people, the longest stretching generations, they were brought here once to melt, to be forged, or else perish. It's a savage world of a million stories. We call it the Crucible. Savage Crucible. Here is the other side of the box. Again, character name on the top, warnings and company information on the bottom. And at first, this seems like a windowless box, but actually there is a flap that opens, and here is the window showing the figure and included accessories. This type of box reminds me on what NECA usually does with their boxes. Here we have a character bio. So if you're interested, you can pause the video and read all of this. It does sound interesting. Anyway, let's now open this up and let's take a look at the figure. Just a heads up, when you open up the box on the top flap, you get this writing saying that there is a possibility of the joints being too stiff during the shipping process. So they recommend you that you heat up the plastic, and that's something that I always recommend you do with any action figure that you get. But also, here it says, look behind the map. And the thing is that inside you will find this backdrop with a map, and it's a map showing Lemuria, and it's connected to the whole backstory, the whole mythology surrounding this action figure line. So this is a nice touch, but behind the map you will find this, and we'll get to that in a bit. Here is Veteris out of the box, and man, does this figure look good. The skin is fully covered in texture, and the design of all the armor pieces is amazing. I guess that's the advantage of having your own action figure line and not having to deal with licensing, because the amount of love and care that they've put into all the details on this guy is incredible. As I said, I never had a chance to mess around with any of Savage Crucible figures. I've seen promo shots and some reviews of few of their releases, but I'm still surprised by the level of quality that I'm seeing here. These figures are taller, probably in that 7-inch scale, and this guy is around 18.5 centimeters tall to the top of the helmet. If I would compare him to some other products, it would have to be NECA figures. The way that the packaging is designed and the scale and details of the figure, it all kind of reminds me of NECA figures, and I do love what NECA does, so that's a good thing. It's hard to talk about proportions here because this is a fantasy lizard type character, but he is lanky because of the long legs, but that works for this character. After I pulled the figure out of the box, it immediately brought smile to my face. I don't know why, but I thought to myself that I would lose my mind if I had something like this when I was a kid, and I don't even know who this is. Usually I buy figures of the characters that I have some kind of connection to, either from the comics, movies or TV shows. But sometimes you just see a fantastic figure without any reference to other media and you appreciate it on its own. But to be completely honest, what could be one of the reasons why I love this design is the fact that it kind of looks like an homage to Masters of the Universe Battle Cat. And here is one version. Some basic details of the design are here. The red armor with similar look of the helmet, and even the green body with orange tiger stripes. This figure is a great callback, but it's also unique enough that it's not a simple copy. Well, I mean, it is a lizard after all, and this is a cat. So I love that connection, and other than the scale, it's one more reason why this figure can fit great into your Motu collection. Taking a closer look at the details, first a quick look at the head. I love the sculpt of the reptilian head, and the mouth do open, revealing a nice sculpt of the tongue. The teeth are also very nicely done, but they are kind of sharp, so be careful with them. I love the weathering around the mouth, and especially on the lower jaw where the scales of the skin pop up even more because of that. The helmet is beautifully done. The sculpt with some scratches and damage marks is great by itself, but on top of that we have a shiny reflective paint with a little bit of weathering, and everything looks really premium. I especially love the eye covers and the way that if the light hits it the right way and from a certain angle, you'll see the lizard eyes behind them, and that's a great attention to details. Here is a look at the neck, and here we see those orange stripes on the body. Same as the helmet, the chest armor looks fantastic, and these spikes are also very sharp, so you need to be careful when messing around with the figure. The armor does come off, it is pegged on both sides of the figure. Remove the head, remove the armor piece, and here is how the torso looks without it. Chests are nicely sculpted, and we see where the articulation cut is. We get more of these orange stripes, and then here is the back of the figure without the armor, and interestingly we have two peg holes here. I wonder what are these for. I've put the armor piece back on, and really do be careful with these spikes because you could really hurt yourself. Shoulder armor also looks beautiful. It is pegged here into the back of the shoulder. We have a nice design of two snakes or dragons with a few spikes. We have more orange stripes on the arms, and then the gauntlet that also looks really good. Same goes for the hands that have a different, more reddish color of the fingers. The belt is a floating piece, and it also looks fantastic. There are these straps connecting to the sheets on the side, and those are simply pegged in to the belt. And everything in terms of the design is inspired by snake shapes. We see a kind of head that looks like a snake's head with fangs and the eyes, and then the whole outline looks like two snakes. You see them up here circling around the waist, and you can see them here on the back as well. It's almost like that ancient symbol called Ouroboros, where the snake bites its own tail, but these are two different snakes. I love all of these imitations of layers and all of these small buttons and everything. Everything is really well done. Then we have these flaps falling off the belt, and there are four of them, one on each side. Everything has like half medieval knights, half savage crucibles of course, but a savage barbarian look, and I love that combination. His lanky legs look good with sculpted muscles and the armor on the shins. The feet also look good, but for some reason have a slightly different tone of green than what we see on most of the body, and then black claws. This guy also has an articulated tail with 4 articulation points in total. It is also slightly darker green, but as you can see, the back of the figure is like that as well. Here is a look at the base of his feet, and it's great that he even has these peg holes. So in case you have a peg hole stand like this one, for example, you can use it for this guy and give him even more stability if that's needed. But honestly, I don't think that it is. He stands great on his own. Let's now take a look at his accessories. He comes with an alternate lizard head sculpt, and this one obviously doesn't have a helmet, but this is not simply an unhelmeted version of the head that we already got on the figure. This is a completely different look. As you can see, the teeth are much smaller, and the whole look is completely different. Obviously, the mouth are also articulated in this one, and here is how the inside of the mouth looks. You can basically make like 2 or 3 different versions of the character out of this one figure. So in that sense, I guess that this should be like an army builder. And again, I love the sculpt. I also love the weathering, especially down here. So yeah, this looks pretty good. He comes with a pair of gripping hands that are already on the figure, and we get a pair of alternate hands that are more opened, and again the fingers that are painted darker. Then you get his whip that is all curled up and connected with this piece, and this can be pegged on the side of the figure instead of one of those sheets that we saw. Then we get a few different weapons here. We get this golden sword that is slightly curved, and it has some damage marks on it. The design of the handle is so beautiful. Look at this. All of these small sculpted details on there. Then we get this sword or a dagger here, and look how damaged and banged up the blade is. It's not clean, it's really used, and it even has these blood marks on it, so it really looks fantastic and brutal. And then we get a slightly larger sword, and this one again has the blood stains here, and the design of the handle is different than the previous one. Each of these has its own unique design. And then he also comes with this axe, and it's a huge axe. Again, the sculpting is beautiful, and so is the paint and the weathering. They've put a lot of scuffs, a lot of damage marks, scratches, everything. You can see again the cracks here in the blades, and this again is very sharp, so do be careful with that. I've just noticed that on the bottom of the tray there is something else in this black bag, so let's open it up. Let's see what this is. It's another weapon, and a translucent one. It looks fantastic, and again we have all of these small scratches, all of these lines, and then the handle that is again looking different than what we saw on all the other weapons. This is a beautiful accessory. And now I guess it's time that we should open up this bag that was behind the map. So we get a character card with a beautiful illustration, beautiful artwork here in front, but on the back we get everything we need to know about this character. This character is not actually this guy here, because he has a different look, and this guy's name is Nin Vilmir. The card says that he's a medium humanoid, Saurian, and he's neutral evil. You know, not too much, he's just neutral evil. And then we get all of his points, his skills, senses, languages. Let's see, does he speak English or perhaps Croatian? No, that's to be expected, few people does. But if you're interested in checking out all of this, you can pause the video now and read it. It's great that these guys are making their own franchise, their own lore, their own mythology, world building, everything, and they are doing it through action figures and through all of these characters. So if you go to their site, which is linked in the video description, you can find out everything that you need to know about this lore, about the characters and the whole concept design, illustrations, drawings, everything, which is something that I'm extremely interested in because I myself am an illustrator. So these kinds of things are something that I adore. Here he is holding two of his swords, and the hands are made out of a softer plastic, so he'll have no issues gripping the weapons. Here we have him gripping the sword with a transparent blade. He also holds the axe without any problems, and swapping out the hands is no issue at all. We pull this one out and peg in the alternate hand. Here is how the alternate head sculpt looks on the body. It feels smaller in comparison to the default head because of the huge helmet. And here are the two heads side by side, and they both look great. It's always good to have options. Ooh, I almost forgot to mention that you can sheath all of his swords on the side like this. Let's now take a look at his articulation. We have this ball peg in the neck, and there is no cut at the bottom of the neck, so you only get the articulation at the top. But the head rotates 360, you get a little bit of side-to-side tilt. He can look down this far, up. He has articulated jaw, a generous butterfly joint, so the arms can go across the chest this much and back this much. Arms do rotate 360, but that will be kind of harder to do because of the spikes of the armor. As we already saw, the shoulder pieces are pegged on the back of the shoulder, so they do move out of the way, and the arms go out this much. There is a bicep swivel, elbows bent this much, slightly better than 90 degrees, and this could possibly be a bit better. And we have a swivel in the elbow, gauntlet swivel as well. We have a swivel in the wrists and the up and down hinge. We have two cuts in the torso. One we saw is up here, the other one is down here behind the belt, so that is where you'll get your side to side rotation, a nice side to side tilt. He bends forward this much, back this much, legs move out this much. This is how far they kick back and forwards. There is a tie cut with a swivel, double jointed knees that bend this much. We have a little bit of swivel in the knees, a swivel in the ankles, feet hinge forward this much, back. We have a generous ankle pivot, and as you already know, back holes at the bottom of his feet. Then of course I must not forget, the tail is articulated. It is on a hinge here at the base, and that is where you'll get your forwards and back hinge, a swivel, and then you get some nice movement on each of these cuts scales as well. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. First, because I wanted to see how he scales with some of my 7-inch figures, I have him next to the NECA TMNT movie figures, Raphael. This is actually a NECA KO. I do have the original as well, but he is out of my reach at the moment, so this guy will have to do. They are the same size, so that's what's important here. On the other side, we have the original NECA TMNT movie Shredder. Next, here is how he scales with Marvel Legends movie Thanos from the 2-pack with Iron Man and the original NECA Feral Predator. And you can see that this guy towers over both of these guys. And to see how he scales with some Mattel 7-inch Motu figures, here he is next to Masters of the Universe Revelation, He-Man and Skeletor. Here he is with NECA TMNT cartoon version. Here he is with NECA TMNT cartoon version of Leonardo and Marvel Legends symbiote suit Spidey. Here is how he scales with the original Mafex classic suit Spider-Man and Daredevil. Here he is next to the original SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Deadpool 2 Deadpool. Here is how he scales with amazing Yamaguchi Rivaltech knockoffs. On the left we have an AliExpress knockoff of 2.0 Deadpool, and on the right the City Toys KO of Rivaltech Agent Venom. Here he is next to the two more City Toys Mafex knockoffs, and it's Brown Suit Wolverine and 001 The Amazing Spider-Man. Here is how he scales with Hasbro's Star Wars The Black Series Darth Vader and Imperial Stormtrooper. And finally, here is how he scales with Mattel Masters of the Universe Cartoon Collection, He-Man and Skeletor. So there you go, that was my review of Savage Crucible's Veteris Rapax by Harvinger Studios. It's a beautifully made figure with a lot of attention to details. Both sculpting and paint job are fantastic, and my only issue is the limited range of bend in the elbows. But everything else is fantastic. You get an amazing looking action figure that you can army build if you want, and give him different looks by giving him different weapons, putting on alternate head and or removing the torso armor. Just with those variations you can get like 3 different looking characters. They've also made sure that the weapon accessories are nicely painted, weathered and detailed, and I always appreciate when a company puts in this kind of work and care into their products. I know that this figure is out for a while now, but in case you don't have it, I would strongly recommend that you get it, if nothing else, just so that you can see on your own what a great job these guys are doing. And as I said, this is a larger figure that fits perfectly with your NECA figures, Motu figures, but also can fit as a larger monster character with your Marvel Legends and other 6-inch figures. Huge thank you to Harvinger Studios for sending this figure for a review. If you're interested in getting it, as I said, link for their Savage Crucible page is down in the video description, so check them out. You've heard my thoughts about this figure, and now I would love to hear yours. What do you think about this release? Do you have any of Savage Crucible figures in your collection? And if you do, are you satisfied with the quality? Let me know all of it down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you goes to my Patreon supporters and channel members for supporting the channel. If you can also join and help, please do so. Patreon link is in the description as well, and channel membership is one click away on the button below the video, so join if you can, and if not, that's also okay. You are still helping simply by watching and sharing my videos. So thank you guys for watching, thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.